welcome to my video, or if you're new, welcome here. My name is Jennifer. Today we're gonna do my July wrap up and talk about the 9 books that I finished in the month. I had such a great reading month, and so it will definitely show in my stats. And so I'm excited to talk about this, and it was a really heavy library book month, which is even more exciting. And so yeah, so I actually only have 4 physical books out of the 9. So 5 of them, more than half, actually came from the library. So I will have a lot of pop-up of pictures here so you can see what books that I'm talking about. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with the stats that I have for this month. So like I said, I read 9 books. They were 6 of them were physical, but 2 of them were from the library. And then I read 3 audiobooks, but 2 of them came from the library as well. And so yeah, it's very exciting to be using my library more. I love that. And so yeah, I use for the audiobooks and ebooks, I use the Libby app. That's what my library has. So I've been enjoying that a lot more as well, which is very exciting. And then I read a total of 3,020 pages, which is great, more than my average, which has been just shy of 3,000 each month. And so yeah, and then my star rating, which is even better, is just a 4.06 stars, so over 4 stars on average, which is awesome to say. And so yeah, let's run through each one of the books in the order that I finished reading them, starting off with the first audiobook that I wrapped up at the beginning of July, which was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is a very popular book right now because of the movie that just came out. And so it is about a science teacher, a middle school science teacher, that ends up becoming a part of this project, a Hail Mary, to save the earth because the sun is dying. And so what is happening? And so they're wanting to save their planet from these microorganisms, this new alien entity, if you will, and how can they stop it from eating their sun, in which we need to live and survive. And so he ends up going up in space with 2 of his scientist colleagues. And then what he finds and gets help for in saving Earth. And so I won't spoil the whole story, but I do have to say that I am very glad that I listened to the book before watching the movie. I definitely think the movie doesn't give you enough context or enough information about what's going on. And so I definitely think the book filled in a lot of holes in where the movie left off. So if you're interested in getting more out of the movie, if you didn't quite understand, or if you want more information on it, I definitely recommend the book. I gave it, let's see, what did I give it? I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, because most of my ratings are gonna be 4 stars, a spoiler, but yeah, so I recommend that one if you like science books, if you like science fiction. But it's also a good story about just space and what people will do to save their world and themselves. And so yeah, that was a good one. So then moving on to one of the books that I read physically that I own, The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. I did really enjoy this one as well. This is about a woman where she is a famous TV star, and she just kind of wonders what if she ended up going to college over in Ireland instead of staying back in Florida with her friend. And so it just like kind of then breaks up into what happens, like deciding between 2 different lives. And what does that mean? Which life is she going to choose? And so this was very good. I really did enjoy this. And again, I gave it 4 stars. It was a good read. I did get some nuggets out of here that I enjoyed. And yeah, I really did like the character. She did learn a lot throughout the book. She did grow as a good character. So I'd recommend those if you like books where the main character is growing and becoming a better person. And so I would recommend that one. And then moving on to Only the Beautiful by Susan Messenger. This is the first book by Susan Messenger that I have read. It was split into kind of 2 different storylines, timelines, in that there was during 1938 when a girl loses her parents and her brother in an accident, and then this family that her parents were working for in the vineyards. And so they were working on the grapevines in California. And so the family that owns the land ends up taking in the girl and kind of fosters her until she turns 18. And so, the wife ends up making her basically a maid, a houseworker, and kind of making her do their household chores. And so not really fostering her, not really encouraging her to go to school. And just, yeah. And then what ends up happening is she ends up getting pregnant by somebody, but she won't say who. So then she gets sent off to this institution where, yeah, as you can imagine, she has her baby and then they give it away. And then what happens to her? Does she get out of the institution or not? I won't spoil it. But yeah, so then the other storyline is in 1947, following the sister to the husband that owns the land. So so it's kind of interesting what she finds out, and then her storyline and how it intertwines with this young girl that goes to the institution. So anyway, it's very interesting. I really did truly enjoy this. This is my only 5-star for the month, but I would definitely highly recommend this one. If you like to like a character study, if you like to know about unwed mothers, or if you like the story of family and found family. And so, yeah, I would recommend this one if you like a good storytelling. I did like Susan's writing, so I would definitely check more out by this author. So I'd recommend this one highly for sure if you're interested. So moving on then to the next book that I have physically, The Best Witch in Paris. And so this one is by Lauren Cousier. I got this one in Paris at this big Shakespeare & Co. company, the bookstore in Paris. And so I finally got a chance to read this one. It is for purple on the cover for my summer reading challenge. And so I'm doing really well with that. I just have 2 colors left. I have a teal and pink is the 2 that I have remaining to read in August to complete that challenge, including the 3 bonuses, which is very exciting. And so, yeah, I'm excited to continue on with that challenge. But I thought this was a very cute story. I'm not sure if it's going to continue on in a series or not. This is the only book that is out, and I don't see anything out by this author to know that it's going to continue. But like the way that it read, it like acted like it was going to continue on. So very interesting. But it is about a young girl that is a witch, that she has 3 adopted aunts. And then how she is going to this witch school, and her aunts are witches. And so then she ends up one day trading a piece of jewelry for this boo owl. And what does that mean? Is it become her familiar? Because each witch is supposed to have a familiar, but somebody else is claiming that it is their owl, their familiar. And so, but only one witch per familiar. And so, yeah, what does that mean? Who actually is his familiar? And then why does it's actually the most prestigious and strongest witch in the community in Paris says that they own the witch, that they own the owl. And so what does that mean? Because they already have a familiar. And so, yeah, I'm very curious to see how that goes. And so if you're interested in a really cute kind of witch middle grade story, I'd recommend this one. And so then moving on to an audiobook that I read and listened to for the book club with Books and Jams. For the Patreon community this month, we read the book Every Time I Go on Vacation, Somebody Dies. It's such a long title. I don't know why the author decided to make such long titles, but all of them, it seems to be that way in this series. It is by Catherine Mack. And so this one was really cute. I'm glad I listened to it. I'm good between listening to it during my commutes to and from work. It made me smile, it made me laugh. I liked to follow along in the mystery and knowing what is going on. Is the ex-boyfriend of the main character, Connor, is he actually somebody trying to kill him or not, because he keeps thinking he is. They are in Italy for a conference where they all these women from the author of the book that is written in this story, is really confusing to explain, but they have all won a trip to Italy because of the 10-year anniversary of the first book that this author wrote. Evelyn, and so no, Eleanor wrote. And so yeah, so she then Connor thinks that somebody's trying to kill him, and Eleanor doesn't believe him. And then Eleanor's sister Harper, which is kind of like her assistant through everything, keeps everything organized and going and on track, doesn't believe Connor either. And so there's other people involved, and so somebody ends up dead, and so they try and figure out how they were murdered and why and all of that. And so it was cute, it's fun, it's a cozy mystery, and so just something fun to listen to during the summer. It's a great time to listen to it during summer in Italy, so that was fun. And then so I give that one 4 stars. I did enjoy it. Not a lot of people, although they liked it but didn't love it. I seem to be in the minority in that I did enjoy it more than others, but that's totally fine. And then I went straight into the next book in this series, No One at This Wedding is Supposed to Die. Again, another really long title, but a longtime friend since childhood of Eleanor's is getting married, and she's actually an actress, and so they were she's actually playing Eleanor in the TV and series in the movie. And so yeah, so it's just kind of funny playing her friend in the story. And so yeah, so it's kind of funny. And so it's her friend that's getting married, and then the main actor in the series playing Connor is the one that's getting married as well, so the groom. And so it's kind of funny. And then somebody of course ends up dead, and so it's a murder mystery, who's trying to be killed and why, and is it the bride and the groom, is it Eleanor again, like what is all happening. So again, it was a fun read, enjoyed it, loved it, it was funny. I also gave this one 4 stars as well. And so I'd recommend it if you just want something cozy, lighthearted, trying to guess who done it. And so yeah, and the author of the stories, Catherine, actually breaks the 4th wall and tries to include you as like, have you guessed it yet? Here's kind of where we're at in the story. Did you think we're done yet? So I do like breaking the 4th wall. I do enjoy that, and so it brought me in, and it felt like I was included and connected in a more part of the story, more invested that way. So I did enjoy that as well. So I think there's like a 3rd and a 4th book out in this series, and I might get to them. I checked them out from the library through Libby, so if they're available, I might, if I need another audiobook, I might look into those and continue on in that series. So I did enjoy those. And then moving on to another physical book, the last one that I have here with me, The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. This again is another kind of murder mystery. It is about, I think it's a set of writers, that 6 authors, and then 72 hours to write the ending of this very reclusive ending to this author's last book that they're writing. Very famous series, and supposedly the author of this famous series has died with the unfinished ending to the book of the last book in the series. And so they task these writers to write the ending, and they are secluded on the author's island where they aren't able to leave. And so and then people start dying, and so why is that? And so it is from the perspective, it keeps changing perspective from each of the different authors, which I thought was an interesting take in writing style, to know that you're reading from different people at different times. So yeah, so I did really like this. In the end, I just still only gave it 3.5 stars. It wasn't as original, it wasn't as shocking as I would have liked it to be. There wasn't enough twists for me. And plus, I didn't really care for the writing style. So I don't know if I'll pick up anything by this author again in the future. It was just okay. I liked it. I'm glad I read it. Now I know. And so, yeah, I will like that one. And so that is kind of where I'm at with that one. If you like writing locked rooms, if you like authors and different perspectives, I'd recommend that one. Trying it, maybe you would like it more than I would. And so moving on to The Caretaker by Marcus Kluwer. This is the author of We Used to Live Here. I did really like that one, and it had a very ambiguous ending, and so I was curious to see how this author wrote this one. And so yeah, I'm excited. I did really enjoy this one. It was, again, spooky, compelling. I definitely had some interesting dreams after reading it before I was going to bed. So it is a horror novel. And so if you are susceptible to those things, maybe not read it right before you go to bed. But I did really enjoy it. I liked that it's about a woman is down on her luck and she needs to have a job. So she ends up being a caretaker for this house where it has some quirks to it. In order to take care of it, there are certain things you have to do, and then if you don't follow those rules, then you must do some different things to get the house back on track and taken care of. But if you keep spiraling, the worse and worse things can happen. And so yeah, it's very interesting. And then, is it actually truly happening, or is it in the imagination? Is it actually real or not? And so it makes you question reality, which I do like reading those kinds of books and things. And so I did like this one a lot. I also gave it 4 stars. Again, I chose my average rating, just over 4 stars for this month. And so yeah, I did really like it. I definitely would read more by this author, maybe just not right before I go to bed, which is good to know. And so yeah, I did really enjoy this one. I'd recommend it if you are interested in the bending of reality. Is it true, not true? Horror, not like body horror, but like thriller horror, and like imagination. And so I know it's kind of hard to explain. And so I like that kind of suspense thriller and not having to do like slasher and blood and gore. Like, I don't like those, but makes you think. I like those for sure. Makes you question things. And so I definitely like that type of horror for sure. And then moving on to the last book, The Girls Trip by Ali Condi. This was a random pickup at the library. This was on the new release shelves. Never heard of it before, but I just thought the synopsis sounded really interesting. It is about 3 girlfriends that started on a book club online, and then after I think 3 years, they finally are meeting up together in person for the first time and going on a road trip and a trip together through hiking. And so yeah, and staying out on this land. And so they meet up and they end up going hiking through this canyon, and then disaster strikes where it was flooding down the canyon. And so many people died during this random flooding. And so it ends up being one of the girls ends up dead. And so what does that mean? What does that look like? And so and then trying to find the bodies to claim. And so one of the girls is actually a famous actress. And so and then it comes a lot of publicity and people wanting to find out what actually truly happened. And so, and yeah, so it's a murder mystery. And so I liked it. It was good. I also gave it 4 stars. It was compelling. I read very quickly. I'd read more by this author. I liked the writing style. And so if, again, there's a lot of murder mysteries this month, which is not my norm. And so, but I did enjoy them. And so if you're interested in 3 girlfriends and then some friends, longtime friends from high school, show up for one of them. And what does that mean? What is that connection? And so yeah, if you enjoy that kind of story murder mystery, I recommend that one as well. So yeah, that is my reading wrap up. Hopefully you enjoyed coming along and getting to know some books. If you have read any of these, please definitely share down in the comments. Did you agree? Did you disagree with my ratings and what I thought of the books? Yeah, so hopefully if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to thumbs up. That way it gets shared out with more people. I'd love to grow a community. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.